Let's talk about gun control this morning. Issue, of course, continues to dominate the political landscape. But often, I think it's fair to say that the most extreme voices on either side of an issue get the most attention. Before the tragic shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, Dan Baum, who's a self-professed gun guy, took an 18-month-long trip across the nation, bypassing the NRA, bypassing extreme anti-gun activists, and speaking directly with people who actually own guns. The results in his new book called Gun Guys, a road trip. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Why would you want to do that? You're a gun owner yourself.
Well, I'm kind of a weirdo. I am a lifelong liberal Democrat from a Jewish suburb of New York who's also been a lifelong gun guy because I was a fat kid at summer camp, and the one thing I could do better than the other boys was lie on my belly and shoot a .22 rifle. So I've been this bifurcated individual, and I think in some way, I mean, there was one point on this trip where I thought I don't really have to go very far to learn about our nation's conflicted relationship with guns. I can just tour the inside of my own skull.
Do you think there are a lot of people in that same position as you are? Because I'm
hearing from them now. Since the book is out and since I've been doing some media and writing some articles, I'm hearing from other liberal Democrats who like guns and who have always felt like I do. I mean, you know, when you hang out around Democrats in my world, people say the most god-awful things about gun owners. And you kind of have to just shut up and pretend you're like a closeted gay man and just kind of chuckle along when people say these things about gun owners. There's a lot of misconceptions. Frankly, the NRA makes a lot of misconceptions about gun owners, and that's why I did the book.
Okay, so 18-month trip across the nation to talk to actual gun owners.
Stopping at every gun store. Why do I like guns?
I mean, why? Like, what do you like about guns?
First of all, they are the most beautiful consumer devices you can buy. You can't buy anything else for $400 that will still be working 100 years from now the way it is.
Golf
today.
clubs? I'm just...
Probably not. Your golf clubs are probably obsolete in about 5 or 6 years. So they're just mechanically beautiful, and that's where it starts. But then it goes really deep. And I'll tell you the surprises for me. I mean, I knew the mechanical beauty, and I knew how much fun they were to shoot. Here's what I didn't realize, is that gun owners, a lot of us, get a tremendous amount of pride from being able to manage these very dangerous things with nobody getting hurt. Use them effectively, take them from the safe, put them in the car, take them to the range, teach people to shoot. And we get a little contact high from the Grim Reaper, to tell you the truth.
Okay, so then that's the part that I find...
There is a death thing here, the way for skydivers. I mean, we are skydivers or race car drivers. We are kind of walking up to the line of death and saying we are kind of managing the line between life and death.
So I think that analogy...
You may not like it. No. As I say in the beginning of the book, I'm not asking you to like all these people. I'm asking you to listen to these people.
Which I completely agree with.
But Dan, I don't think it's a question for me. It's a question of even I don't like them or I like them. Look, I'm born and raised in Texas. I get the whole deal. But I think where it begins to evolve into a different conversation, and I appreciate the love of guns. But when you begin to look at the reality of what happens, the after effect. A guy who's jumping out of a plane, that's just affecting him.
Right.
When a bullet is fired, you have no idea where that bullet is going. And so when you begin to talk about guns in this country and the gun culture, I think that's when the conversation begins to shift.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, you write about carrying a concealed weapon. Like, you'd like to look into carrying a concealed weapon.
I did that for a year.
I mean, and I guess that's all part of that.
I did that for a year and a half to kind of get in the gun guy head and also to kind of identify myself to other gun guys.
So here's my question. And I grew up with a rifle. I'm actually a really good shot. I have small children, so I always worry about weapons around kids. And I've covered a zillion stories as a reporter of kids being shot by guns accidentally. But why do you need a gun when you're going to the Whole Foods? Like, what's the point?
You probably don't need a gun when you're going to the Whole Foods.
Why do you need a gun at the Whole Foods?
Why do I need a gun for the Whole Foods? I never needed the gun. I live in a safe place. After about a year and a half, I got tired of carrying it. But there are a lot of Americans, this just in, you'd be amazed how many Americans don't live in Manhattan. Don't live on the Upper West Side.
Which obviously we know.
Right, but
I get you're being facetious.
It's Houston, it's Dallas.
There are a lot of Americans who live in places
where
they
feel like they need a gun to the grocery
gun.
store because they're worried for their lives and that they may be attacked and they might need to shoot someone. Is that your answer?
Well, there are about 7 million Americans who've gotten legal handgun permits. Frankly, I think most Americans who get handgun permits get them because they want to carry a gun. I think the desire to carry the gun precedes the fear of the crime. But once you've got the gun, you are really lit up with attention and paying attention.
See, I don't understand.
We're going to continue this conversation. I have to hit a commercial break, or we won't ever need to worry about this again, because they'll take me right off. We got to take a short break. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, because I find your book just fascinating. Like the mindset of the why is, we could talk about.
As I say, you don't have to like them, but you do need to understand them.
We also want to talk this morning about